Ideas that market themselves. If you Google list of viral apps, you get apps that already had success and then went viral. But what about apps that blow up right away, where all you need to do is put out that little spark? There's all this gasoline around, and the spark catches and it spreads and it spreads and it spreads and it spreads, and all you need is that one spark. It's a boolean outcome. It gets dropped in the right place. It either works or it doesn't, and that's the end of it. And then you can keep working on it and trying to make it catch. You can try to slowly get traction on it, or you can run the lottery again and hope that you have crazy product market fit right away. Normally on this show, I talk about how to market stuff that doesn't catch fire, crazy fire right away, because the reality is that's most stuff. That is most brands and most products. They don't catch crazy fire right away. But on today's episode, I want to talk about products that do, or ideas that do. I'm going to share 3 examples. I'm going to talk about how they did their initial launch, the spark that set them off. I'm going to give ways that you can get that spark. If you have an idea that you think is a Boolean 1, that you think is going to catch fire right away, it's that spark in the pool of gasoline. And the crazy thing is, you don't actually have to build the product to try this. You can do it with a landing page, because if the idea is viral enough, it markets itself. It goes crazy even if the product isn't built. And I've seen that time and time again. I've shared it on this show. The very first thing that I want to share, this is an OG viral product. It's called shipyourенemiesglitter.com. Let's see if the URL still works. It does. And it has 59 out of 100 domain authority. So this launched in 2015, and it did exactly what it said. You gave the person who created it some money, and this person would send your enemies glitter. It would be like a glitter bomb. I think glitter bombs started with this. It actually says, we take pride in being the pioneers of the glitter bomb. And then they added a lot of other pranks to this, other things related to a glitter bomb, like a bag of dicks, or a quote-unquote frustration box. Literally, their prank is called Bag of Dicks. And then they have something called a frustration box. I think the person who created this was in Australia, but it went so viral, so fast, that I heard about it in New York City. And it was 2015, and I was living back home in New York City. And I must have been browsing Product Hunt one night or something, and somebody had shared it there. But I think it originally dropped on Reddit, and then it just went viral right away. It was just dropped on some subreddit, maybe R interesting, and it just went viral right away, or R funny, and it went viral right away because people were so entertained by this. This was just an entertaining idea. It was funny. It was entertaining. The best marketing is funny marketing because, and I talked about this yesterday, and I talked about this before with Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds can market anything if it's funny. If people are laughing and they're enjoying it, they're going to enjoy the advertisement. And so you have an idea that's so funny or so creative or so interesting that you can do any marketing for it because people just love the idea. That's what this is. But it didn't really have to do marketing because it marketed itself. It was dropped in the right spot, which was just Reddit. And then it went viral immediately, was shared around and shared in lots of other places. This is a positive Boolean outcome. It either would have worked on Reddit, and if it didn't work on Reddit, it probably wasn't going to go viral in any other places. Maybe if there was a right spin behind it, but still, it wouldn't be going viral because of the product. It would be going viral because of the spin. It would get a lot of attention. It could even get a lot of backlinks, but you'd still have to work on the marketing and work on the product and just do a lot of iterating. But this one went viral immediately. Second thing, friend.com. This went viral for a few reasons. First of all, it pissed off a lot of people. I think that was one of the biggest reasons why it went viral. This guy, and I talked about it on the podcast before, this guy raised some money and he paid Sandwich Video, I think it was $225,000 or something, to make a video for him. I said the price in the video that I made. I don't remember what it was. Actually, I looked in the description. It was $200,000. I was close. On a video from Sandwich Video, an explainer video. That's not even the biggest news though. But people probably wouldn't even have cared about the biggest news if it wasn't for the idea. So the biggest news was he spent 72% of his funding buying the friend.com domain name. He paid $1.88 million to buy friend.com. This guy, Avi Schiffman, at 21 years old. And he spent $200,000 on a video from Sandwich Video showing the idea. And it is a physical pendant that you wear on your neck, and it's an AI friend, and it listens to your surroundings. It can tell you what's going on in your life or what happened on some date. And then it's also your friend. You can talk to it as a friend, and it's literally like your AI friend. And Sandwich Video made this crazy video that some people are calling a dystopia, because people are just hanging out with the AI instead of with real people. And as a result, this idea, it pissed off a lot of people, and it went viral. People were just sharing it a ton, just talking. It was shared all over the place. Reddit, the news. It got so many backlinks on Threads, on X, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. Everywhere it was being shared. The guy raised a ton more money because of how viral this went. He fundraised a ton more money, got a ton of backlinks, easily making the $1.8 million purchase of a domain name worth it. But people wouldn't have cared about that if the idea wasn't so infuriating to so many people in the first place, if it wasn't so provocative. And the way that he marketed this is he had some famous investors. I don't think he had a big following at the time, but he had some famous investors. And so he just put out an announcement with this video, and then the investors reshared it on X, and that was it. And it was either going to go viral or it wasn't. And then it went viral because of the idea, because it was provocative. It pissed off so many people. That's an idea that marketed itself. So that's number 2. Number 3, this one's going to be a bit basic, but the reason I want to share it is because I was there when it happened, and it's ChatGPT. It's basic because it's the fastest growing product of all time. It went viral right away. Everyone uses ChatGPT, but you know how it launched? It launched on Product Hunt. And the reason I was there is because I launched, and I've shared this story on the podcast before, I launched on the same day as ChatGPT on Product Hunt. And for most of the day, I was number 1. My product was number 1 in ChatGPT, which had this weird logo, and it was this thing that nobody had heard of. And the name was weird. It had all these letters in a row that didn't even make sense. Like, what ChatGPT? Like, how are you saying this? And so it was slow to rise up the ranks of Product Hunt. And I watched the way Product Hunt is a 24-hour leaderboard of tech products. And then every 24 hours, the leaderboard is refreshed. And so at the beginning of the day, everything kind of just starts. Now it's changed a bit. So like everything is in a random order and it changes order every time you check the page. But before, you would see for the first beginning of the day, you would see who is ranked where. And I think it was up until the afternoon and I was ranked number 1. And I was watching slowly as ChatGPT crept up and up and up and up. And then it was at number 5 and I was at number 1. Then it was at number 4 and I was at number 1. It was at number 3. Wow, it keeps going. Then it's at number 2. Oh no, what? And then it's at number 1. Okay, maybe I can beat it. Let me share my Product Hunt launch with more people. No, and ChatGPT demolished everybody on the same day that I launched. And I finished number 2 right behind ChatGPT, which just annihilated everything because it's ChatGPT. And that was an idea. And you know what's so funny? I had my launch on that day and it was great for us. But you know what I did all of that day? I played with ChatGPT because it was the most revolutionary tech product that I had used. And I played with it until 4 a.m. And so did lots of other people because it was that crazy. And that was an idea that marketed itself. All it needed to do was launch in the right place, and it was either going to work or it wasn't. And then it worked. And so now, how do you launch in the right place? Well, so Product Hunt is really great. And Beta List is also really good. I think if ChatGPT had launched on Beta List, it also would have gone viral. People on Beta List would have seen it. They would have shared it on X. They would have shared it on Threads, on Instagram, and lots of other places. It would have gotten picked up in the news, and it would have gone viral like that. So Beta List can work as well. That's another great place for launching technology products. Product Hunt is probably still the best. I also have a guide on how to launch on Product Hunt. If you want to find it, you can search Edward Sturm, Product Hunt results. And then my article comes up, results from 5 successful Product Hunt launches. So I have this guide, how to launch on Product Hunt. The number 1 piece of advice that I can give is fill out everything in a Product Hunt launch. Fill out everything because that makes your chances of not being like, I wouldn't even say shadowed. It's just if you don't appear in a certain area of Product Hunt, people are going to be a lot less likely to see you and give you votes on Product Hunt. It works with votes kind of similar to Reddit. And if you don't fill out everything, you're very unlikely to show in this page that you need to show in. Now, if you're unable to fill out everything or if you do and for some reason you still don't show up in this page, you can actually message support for Product Hunt and they get back to you really fast. They're really responsive and you can say, hey, I worked on my launch, spent a lot of work on this product. If you think I filled it out correctly, would it be possible to be included in the page that has everything else? And actually, I've done this several times and they've featured me right away. So you can do that, but the best piece of advice is just fill out everything right away and then you can launch on Product Hunt. And ChatGPT was such a crazy product that it didn't have crazy momentum at the beginning of the day when it launched on Product Hunt, but it slowly crept up and up and up and up. And then it was number one. And then it just skyrocketed, blew everyone away, and then it became the fastest growing product of all time. Subreddits on reddit.com. These are individual boards on reddit.com. Also an excellent place to launch. I would recommend 2 subreddits that you could try: Entrepreneur Ride Along and Side Project. Our Entrepreneur Ride Along and our Side Project, and you can drop your projects in there. There are lots of other subreddits that you can try specific to your niche, but you can launch on Reddit. And the thing is, if it wasn't going to go viral, then it's just not going to do well. And it is what it is. But if it was meant to be, if it was an idea that marketed itself, that Reddit launch might be all that you need. I've launched videos that have changed my life all by just, we spent like a month or 2 on a video. We dropped it on the R video subreddit and it was either going to pop or it wasn't. And I've had this happen. And if it didn't pop, I couldn't really make it go viral. It was hard to make it go viral. But if it popped, then I could make it go, then it would go really viral. There's also niche viral where you could make something go viral in a specific niche. But that's different than like hugely viral that completely markets itself. So maybe you do something in a specific niche and you drop it in the right niche and then it goes viral in that niche with those journalists or the people in a certain subreddit. For example, if you dropped friend.com in like a painting subreddit, people wouldn't most likely care about it. It wouldn't really do anything. So you can be niche viral too, and you can still launch on a certain subreddit and that will be everything that you need. But that's kind of, if it doesn't go viral there, it's just not really going to go viral. If it doesn't go viral within your niche, it's not going to go viral. And I've had that happen. I put out videos before on the video subreddit and they didn't go viral, but then I shared them with bloggers in a certain niche and these bloggers thought it was so crazy. And then they shared it and then it got picked up by other bloggers in their niche and other journalists in their niche. And then it made it to subreddits in that niche and that was what it needed. And it still stayed niche viral. It wasn't viral, but it was niche viral, but it was still an idea that marketed itself. But it needed that initial spark and the initial spark was sending it to the bloggers. And that actually brings me to the third way of getting that initial spark. Because the thing is, what if you have a really inflammatory product, kind of like friend.com? You have a product or a brand that's going to go viral because it makes people really angry. Part of the reason I'm making this episode is that I have friends who are about to launch something just like this. It's a new app in the dating space. I think it's going to go pretty viral. I think it's something that markets itself, and it's going to make a lot of people really angry. I'm not going to share what it is. I don't want people to take their idea, but it's crazy. But the thing is, it's going to make so many people angry that it's hard for them to launch on conventional platforms, Product Hunt, Reddit, these places, because it's going to make so many people angry that they're just going to downvote it. It's not going to do well because it's going to make a lot of people angry, but the product, people would still use the product. Friend.com made a lot of people angry, but it wasn't launched in the conventional way. It was shared on X and then reshared by famous investors who had invested in it. And that was what it needed. And then people became interested in the story as well because 72% of its capital was spent on a domain name. So it had an interesting story too. But what if you don't have famous investors? What do you do? So what you do is you find journalists in your niche or journalists who have written about things that are kind of similar to what you're doing, and you get their email addresses, you can use the lucia.com Chrome extension. Look them up on LinkedIn after using with this Chrome extension. I've used it before. I'm not an affiliate of it. I actually tried to join their affiliate program, and I'm not even sure if it's still running. But it's lucia.com, LUSHA.com. And they give you a Chrome extension. I think you pay like $100 for a month, and that's all you need. And then you can collect. You go to LinkedIn and you get the phone numbers and email addresses of any journalists that you want. And they have a very good database. And then you can email them or you can pitch them with WhatsApp. People will really pay attention to WhatsApp messages. And the thing is, if the idea is good, after messaging maybe like 5 or 7 journalists, that should really be all that's necessary to make it pop off. If the journalists don't care, it's not a viral idea. You still need to write the pitch in a decent way. You want to keep it short. You want to start with your strongest point. But if a journalist takes a look at it and they don't care and it's in their niche, then it wasn't meant to be. But if it's in their niche and it's an interesting idea or a provocative idea or a crazy useful idea, which also falls under interesting, that could be the spark that makes it market itself. And then from that point on, it's product development and growth marketing. And then you're doing all sorts of other channels. But it's still marketing itself, and you'll get a lot of competitors because this is such a viral idea. These are ideas that market themselves. And the last thing, like I said, you don't even need to actually make the product. All you need is a landing page that describes it. And if the idea is good enough, you can test lots of different ideas this way using these methods. You can test ideas, see which idea gets the most traction, and then build that. Because if the idea enough is good, even without an existing product, it will still go viral. And that is what I wanted to share with you on episode 541 of my daily digital marketing podcast. It is 9:25 p.m. I started recording this one way later than normal. I just had some coffee way later than normal, but I'm having a great day. I hope you're having a great day too. Thank you so much for watching if you watched on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening. If you listened on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.